All right, welcome to the next episode for the Spear podcast. Denver Black here, joined with Matt
Mbanga, very good.
I'm kidding.
You got it.
I just wanted to this is you're a first guest, actually.
Oh, cool.
And I really think this is a rare opportunity. So I really want to highlight what you're doing here at Hope Village here in Chisamba, but then also spend just a bit of time talking about your past and what you've done. You have a pretty well-known past in Foundations for Farming, and which is, I'm such a fan of the organization. And so yeah, can you tell us a little bit about, I guess, what got you into Foundations for Farming? I know the faith component is large, but what drew you to Foundations for Farming? You spent a decade.
17 years.
17? No,
Yeah.
okay, well, I'm missing by almost a half. So, so 17 years in Foundations for Farming, but maybe a decade. You were spent a CEO, was it, or?
Yeah, 5 years as CEO.
5 years as CEO. Okay.
10, 11 as a board member before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so 17 years, but you've only just started here just this last year.
Yeah.
So the previous 17 years consecutively, you were working for Foundations for Farming.
Not working for, but so on the board, so affiliated with, and then only worked for them for 5 years.
Okay.
And then left to come here and be part of this.
So tell me a little bit about that. What drew you to Foundations for Farming? Your involvement on the board. Maybe if you could nutshell for those who may not be super familiar with Foundations for Farming, what it is, what drew you to it, and then your involvement in it up until this point.
Super. So I was doing orphan kind of leadership training camps for orphans in Zimbabwe when I first came back from college in Texas, and had a brand new Christian, made a deal with God basically that I would go back to Zimbabwe and work in the village and live, in the village, and basically, as hard as it could be type thing would be, the better it could be in terms of my act of redemption. I thought I needed to pay my penance and kind of redeem my bad life. And so I thought I was being sent to be punished and I made a deal with God that I would do it for 6 months and live with orphans in the village and serve and pour out my life for the poorest of the poor for 6 months. And then I would have kind of cleaned my slate and get to go back to America and live my real life.
Yeah.
And so that during that 6 months, someone said to me, hey, why don't you go on a Foundations for Farming training course, because then you can help teach the orphans how to grow their own food. And I was like, oh, yeah, that makes complete sense. So I went on the course and met Brian Oldrieve, and he's basically been my mentor since then.
Wow.
And so met him on the training, woke up the next day, second day of the kind of 3-day training at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I had never been an early riser up until that point. I was a night owl. All of my school, I wrote all my papers between 1 and 3 in the morning. So to wake up at 5 a.m. was pretty crazy.
Wait a minute, this is when I might go to bed.
Yeah, you're right. And I literally kind of just had this groan, just this sinking feeling in my heart, just like, oh, God is making me a farmer.
Oh, wow.
I just knew it. I was like, oh man, that sucks. Like, I did not want to be a farmer, and I just knew that God had an assignment for me because of everything that I'd heard and seen on that one day of the camp, the training, and I just knew that it was the answer for Africa.
Wow.
I just said, this makes so much sense. This is it. Empowerment for the poorest of the poor, the most vulnerable people on the planet. Make them the center of the plan. Empower them, equip them, release them to fulfill their potential by working hard on a small piece of land, doing it at a high standard, having high returns, suddenly being profitable and productive, and then that just made so much sense to me. And so I loved that, and I was engaged, and I was just keyed in and said, Brian, this is the answer. How do we kind of scale this?
Wow.
And so he asked me so the board hadn't even been formed at that stage. So
that hadn't even formed the board yet.
Yeah.
And that was in 2007.
Yeah.
And so then,
a couple of years
how do we
later,
scale this thing?
Yeah. So 2 years later, he basically forms the founding board, So I had the privilege of being one of the 7 founding board members,
Okay.
which was a real trip. It was an amazing kind of the next 10 years was pretty cool, kind of just scraping along, just trying to pay bills. I mean, there was a couple of seasons then when we couldn't pay any of the full-time staff.
Oh, wow.
So as the board, trying to fundraise, trying to cobble
So
things.
you weren't working full time then? for
No,
Foundation
but I
for
carried the responsibility along with the board of, man, we've got
So
these
you were
employees.
working and doing Foundations for Farmers?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, but so I had a heart and a passion for this ministry, knowing that it was a key piece of the puzzle to bring God's transformation to Africa.
Wow.
And so had this burden for it, was walking, carrying that burden, speaking at conferences, doing trainings, that kind of thing, for the next 10 years.
Wow.
And had been asked to kind of join the team and be full-time, 3 separate times during that 10 years. And at those 10 years, I was actually pastoring a church in Harare.
Oh, wow.
And so I was,
Busy.
sold out. And I was.
Were you married?
I was married. We had 3 kids. I did my MBA and my doctorate during those 10 years as well.
And you slept once or twice?
2 or 3 times, 2 or 3 hours a night.
That's
But
nuts.
yeah, so it was nuts. But so 3 times was asked to come on to staff full time, and I couldn't kind of justify, because I knew the financial
Yeah,
situation.
I understand.
I was like, I've got 4 kids and I'm doing a doctorate.
Yes.
And I'm a pastor. It's not like I've got making
Yeah.
cash. It just doesn't work. I knew it just financially
It's hard, though.
it just wouldn't add up.
Because it's like your heart's there.
Yes. But then, so we get to 2019, and I graduate with my doctorate, and okay, cool. Okay, like now life's good. We can kind of just catch my breath and just slow down and just get on with it. And God basically says, now's the time to go. So I'm like,
Full-time.
all right, God, like you want me to take a pay cut
Yeah.
from being in ministry, from being a pastor. I'm going to take a pay cut
It gets lower.
to go and work full time for Foundations.
Wow.
But that's how convicted we were and convinced we were of the importance of the mission and the ministry. And so I was like, okay, so I took a pay cut from being an associate pastor in a medium-sized church to go and be the CEO of Foundations for Farming.
Oh, man.
And we just loved that and knew that it was God's calling and plan. And so then the next 5 years was an incredible whirlwind there. So 2020, we had COVID. And so all the NGOs and everybody that kind of helps feed people in Zimbabwe, which has not been food secure for 20 years, it all kind of dried up because everybody had their own problems. You remember what that was like? I mean, COVID was like, everyone kind of pulled back, and it was self-preservation kicked in like overdrive. And so there was drought as well in Zimbabwe, and there was, it was dire. And so we ran a national campaign and basically trained 2,000 government agricultural extension officers during that time.
Wow.
As critical, so essential services. Basically, the only ones that were allowed. We had special letters from the government to be able to travel around the country when no one else was allowed. There was no intercity travel allowed.
You were essential.
We were an essential service. The president became a spokesperson for us.
I remember hearing, like, it just
Amazing.
exploded in the most unlikely of times.
Yeah. And so that next harvest was the biggest harvest in Zimbabwe in 37 years.
Wow.
So it was incredible, just an amazing, it was kind of almost a perfect storm.
Yeah.
We had this coupling of the best rainy season in a while, plus everybody back
Everyone's
home.
doing it well.
Right. Everyone's home because of COVID. And so a lot of stuff shut down, so people returned to the rural areas. There was no handouts, there was no NGOs, there was no food. So people were hungry, so they were kind of had to farm. There was
Like a back to the land movement.
right.
Yeah.
And so all those things kind of conspired or kind of intersected and resulted in people went to the land. 3 million people farmed.
Wow.
And did it this way, this simple, sustainable way, kind of mimicking how God farms in nature. So minimal soil disturbance, maximum soil cover, multiple species. This incredible, simple system. So 3 million people adopted it. 9 million people were fed as a result of that adoption.
Amazing.
Amazing. So 2022, I go to the UN, to Italy, to Rome, to the head office of the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. we win this award for feeding 9 million people during COVID in Zim. And I mean, just a really cool kind of a sort of a thing. As I'm kind of in the green room, whatever, about to speak to 172 ambassadors from all over the world.
Gee.
Basically, they sort of like this, you know, there's no religion, there's no, you know, kind of, you got 2 minutes and you got to send us your speech, and we've got to vet it first, and you know.
Oh, that's tough.
So it was
especially
hectic.
for Foundations for Farming, when the whole thing's biblical
It's ministry,
based.
yeah. So I was just, I didn't know what to do. I'm just like praying, Lord, I don't know how to do this. Like, what's, you know, how do I give you the glory? Because I know we didn't do this. I know that we can't take the glory for this.
Sure, yeah.
We know that the multiplication that happened from the 2,000 to the 3 million to the 9 million. I mean, it was just an incredible, and the rain came and just.
Yeah, so how do you explain this?
So
without God.
Right. So I just get up there, and God kind of at the last second just gives me, so I just say, thank you so much, our Heavenly Father, our awesome provider, in Shona. So no one understands. And then I say grazie, you know, in Italian. I say hello in Italian. Say thank you in Spanish, and then, you know, good morning in English.
Nice.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's cool.
And so it sounded like I just said greetings in a bunch of different languages. But and then the Zimbabwean ambassador, who I had never met, she comes right up to me straight afterwards, and she's like, "God bless you."
That's so cool.
So anyway, really special kind of time,
cool.
and all of that, and just a wonderful period. And it coincided with the 40-year anniversary of when God gave the vision to Brian. And so it was just an amazing, and I said to him, I went to visit him actually before I flew to Italy. I went to visit him at his house, and I just said, Brian, this is the culmination of your dream. This is the fulfillment of what God gave you.
40 years.
Yeah. And I sort of said to him, tell me what you want me to say, you know. And he said, just give God the glory. He said, it's just, you know, praise the Lord. So yeah, it's been a fun sort of a ride with that whole thing. We've now just done so basically the last thing that I did was engage the British government, so FCDO, UK Aid, and designed this program basically so it was a web-based thing or app to train, track, monitor the rollout. And so every farmer to have an app and to have the training material at their fingertips and to watch, you know, high quality training videos and have all the key dates and all that kind of stuff and the how to step by step. Because one of the things that I learned from that FAO thing, the feedback, the finding report that they then sort of shared back, because they came up with the figure, the 9 million people. We didn't say, we fed 9. They're the ones that told us that. They said, we found this is how it rolled out, and this is how many people benefited, and this is whatever. And they also found that 63% of the people that implemented the training were never trained face to face by anyone. So 63% of the adopters were trained remotely.
What?
So radio, TV, print.
Serious?
WhatsApp videos.
Wow,
That's
amazing. Shocking.
63%.
Wow.
So it was like, okay, well, this is then pretty obvious that this is the way forward. Now this is how we.
Wow, that's surprising.
Crazy, right? So the information that you can get and the quality of the training that you can disseminate.
And you can replay it.
Exactly,
over and over.
in everybody's own language.
Yeah.
In their back pocket.
Wow.
So basically
that really directed you to say, hey, wow, we need to be more deliberate.
Yeah. And so we got a bunch of Raspberry Pis. I don't know if you knew about. I'd been introduced to that by a friend in Texas who told me what a Raspberry Pi was. I saw the whole sort of thing. So we put all our training videos onto the Raspberry Pi and then gave those to the extension officers to then go and do training, and then let everyone that attends the training in the rural area all access the training themselves on his Raspberry Pi and watch it as many times as they want to, and even download it on their own device.
That's so cool.
And take it with them to then show to their family and friends and whatever. And
so they were using the Raspberry Pi like in the village.
Yeah.
Were they using like a projector to show, or how were they doing that?
So I don't know how they ended up doing. I mean, I think each extension officer can kind of do his own thing.
Okay.
But I remember the cost kind of thing. We had initially said that it was too expensive to do the projector thing.
So maybe
but
just-
everyone's got a phone, and so everyone can.
So the Raspberry Pi was just a way to basically,
Yeah,
it's like a drive.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Everyone just log in onto it, get in range of it,
Okay.
and download it. And then, of course, you can track the data. How many people
Oh, so they're
watch it.
wirelessly. They can wirelessly
Yeah.
download it from the Raspberry Pi.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm following you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's incredible.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was really fun. So as a result of that, I mean, I think that information is out there now.
Wow.
You know, so I think, and then kind of, so Brian then retired up here 2023. So last year. Calls me and says, "Hey, I want to introduce you to some guys here, and there's a pretty cool sort of project. There's a great base that could be a model training center for Africa. You know, it's basically Zambia is bordered by 8 countries.
Right.
It is the dead center of central southern Africa, the heart of the last chunk of arable land in the world.
Yeah, right.
If you think about every kind of, okay, Australia, lots of desert, what is kind of available, spoken for.
Yeah.
It's owned and fully utilized. You know, there's not too much idle land not being kind of utilized there. Asia, same story. North America, same story. South America, there's the Amazon, but we can't cut
We
down
wanna keep
any
that
more of
there.
that, right? So it's what is available is utilized, and we don't want to chop down anymore, right?
Right.
Middle East,
deserts for now.
desert, Europe, so North Africa, desert, so central, so sub-Saharan Africa, central and southern Africa is the last chunk of arable land that's available, that's not fully utilized.
Yeah.
It's underperforming,
owned.
right? And it's not owned. There's no title to it. So it's just idle land. Look at all this land,
It's incredible.
right? And so the people
It's
that are
so
on the land,
underutilized.
the people that are
currently.
on the land don't have the skills or the capability or whatever is going on. They are not
Yeah.
utilizing it and optimally sort of being faithful stewards of the land. And so the parable of the talents teaches us that possessions move in the direction of faithfulness. So if you're unfaithful, it moves away from
That's
you.
right.
And it moves in the direction of those that are faithful. So our goal for the people of Africa, for the beloved brothers and sisters that we love and serve here in Africa, our mission is to teach faithfulness. So we train people how to be faithful with the resources that God has given them, and that way they'll get to keep the land. That way they will stay. If they're unfaithful,
It goes away.
it's going to go. So I feel like my central kind of calling and purpose and passion is teaching faithfulness. So the parable of the talents is something that I speak about at least weekly.
Yeah.
Whether I'm picking up trash, walking around campus, or leading devotions or whatever. It's the parable of the talents. Be faithful with little.
It's stewardship.
Yeah, it's stewardship. 100%.
Faithfulness is stewardship.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
And I also love telling people, so people kind of, especially in Christian circles, guys feel like profitability is like a dirty word, but actually profitability or profit is the fruit of faithfulness.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you
Exactly.
just be faithful and you'll be profitable,
That's
you'll be
right.
sustainable.
Yes.
And, it'll work out, and that's the goal. So obviously then that's part of the discipleship and part of the modeling and the mentorship is that, it's not so that then you can have, health, wealth, and happiness. It's not prosperity gospel.
Yeah.
It's part of being a good steward is understanding ownership. And so even when you reap in abundance and you make profit and you're productive, it's not yours.
Yeah.
It still belongs to God. It's his economy. You're the manager.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, God, well, we've now harvested this abundance. What do you want me to do with it? Who do you want me to feed? Who do you want me to give it to? How do you want me to use this to serve you? And so that's the kind of the whole sustainability piece.
So Hope Village,
Yeah.
to which you've come as a model. This, Brian is saying, I think this is a good place. There's a foundation been laid here.
Yeah.
A foundation by who, generically, what has made that so unique to make such a foundation?
Yeah.
And then a model to advance foundations for farming, or a model to take foundations for farming to the next level, or what does that look like?
So let me just speak about, so Village of Hope was founded in 2005 by Benedict and Kathleen Schwartz. So an American couple who kind of were reaching retirement age, and Ben was reading a Christian magazine, and he heard about the millions, or 1 in 5 children in Zambia were being orphaned through HIV and AIDS. And he just started weeping, and he just couldn't stop weeping. His heart was just broken. As a father of 6, his heart was broken for these millions of children that were going to grow up without parents. And he just this is catastrophic. This is devastating. Someone's got to do something.
Yeah.
And he came up with this model. Basically, you have sort of the World Vision kind of model of a family sponsoring a child. And he said, well, what about if we got churches to sponsor a children's village? And so he kind of, figured that all out, came across here to see if this was a God idea or just a good idea. And as he got here, the doors just opened, met these ladies, these elderly Zambian ladies who said, oh, we've got land here, pay us whenever you want to. Here's 250 acres to set up your village. It's right on the Great North Road, the main highway up into Africa, just amazing. So it's been an incredible run for them for the last 18 years, but they're not farmers. And so they started off as a village, a children's village, 100 children living in a village with Zambian parents in each of these homes, and then they were going to the local school. Then they realized that these kids were not actually being educated, so they thought, let's build a school. We've got 100 kids, we might as well have a school. And so they built a school and started teaching them in this local school. Then the school was so successful and became so popular that people from all over the place started coming requesting to join this village school. So they couldn't turn anyone down. So there's now 650 kids in the school.
Nice, yeah.
There's so the village remains obviously for the children, who now for the last there's hundreds of kids have gone through over the last 20 years or 18 years. There's also it's a safe house, registered safe house with the Ministry of Social Welfare. So children come for a month to 6 months to escape abusive situations or while trials or whatever are happening. In when they're in bad situations. There's also Elizabeth House, which is a home for pregnant teen mothers. Oftentimes a teenage girl gets pregnant, she just gets kicked out of the house, gets abandoned. So there's a safe place where they can come and live and give birth to their babies and kind of get on their feet before returning to their community. So we're in the process of building a clinic now so that we can actually give a bit better sort of care to the community. There is a doctor on site who treats the children in the village and the school, but we need actually a facility to serve the community a bit better. And then there's the agricultural college. So these kids would graduate from high school and still not be able to get jobs. So Ben and Kathleen sort of thought, well, at least if they can farm, they've got skills, they can feed themselves, they can get farm jobs or whatever. So they set up the agricultural college to train 100 agriculture students every single year. And so I came in basically in the 3rd year of that college to be able to train those guys. So train those 100 ag students, and that's my farm labor. So we now farm the farm.
Which is brilliant. I mean, that's a real education.
Exactly, yeah.
At the end, you don't just have knowledge.
Right.
But you have know-how, you have experience.
Yeah, so you've got experience, you know how to go home or go to, get a little piece of land from the chief and go and you can feed your family, you can get on your feet within year 1. So it's a pretty cool thing. But at the same time, we're establishing this model. So there's the love of Christ basically at every single level. And then we have Hope's Harvest. So the food that is produced on the farm, so there's cows, chickens, goats, wheat, vegetables. We've got one pivot that's just vegetables. That's where the students mainly work, obviously as well helping with the crops, but mainly in the vegetables. And so all of that stuff then is on sale. Well, firstly it feeds 1,000 people a day, 650 school kids, 100 ag students, 300 staff and interns.
That's massive.
But then, so at the truck stop on the roadside, that food is also the surplus is available for sale, sold to truck drivers in the restaurant, but it's also vegetables that the community can buy with a bakery and bread that can be bought. So it's cool. Like it's an vertically integrated value chain for everything agriculture. So the cows and the goats and the chickens that are grown on site are fed to the staff and sold to the staff for excess to take home if they want, and also sold to the wider community. And that then finances us to be able to employ more of the high school graduates and the agricultural college
Incredible.
grads. So it's supposed to be a model of kind of a closed system.
Let me just make sure we're still good. Okay, good. Sorry. So you say it's so it's a model.
Yeah.
It's incredible because I mean as I've been praying about how can you really make a difference and really make an impact. I mean, for the most part, you're describing the majority of components that I think are both required and missing.
Yeah.
From most instances. And by that I mean, okay, one, it needs to be, people can't just be coming and getting help or whatever. They're not transformed first. And by the gospel of Jesus Christ. I mean, that's like without transformation, it doesn't matter whether we prosper either, because we prosper in
vain.
Exactly. I mean,
yeah.
And then, but then the other thing that is quite interesting is both discipleship seems to often be the missing component. Like, okay, that people go, they preach a gospel, and then what?
Yeah.
So there isn't discipleship. And discipleship is a process that happens over time.
Yeah.
It's living together. It's a refining process where we become more like Christ. And that takes time and proximity.
Mm-hmm.
But then not just that, because, the Bible talks about, worship. Work is worship, really.
Yeah.
And like you talk about doing things at standard, like everything we do, like you mentioned, even picking up trash, you're setting an example of stewardship.
Yeah.
That ownership, seeing everything not as mine, but as God's, and a privilege to better that, to steward that, and actually the act of worship and gratitude, the act of gratitude to God, to say, I'm grateful for my breath, I'm grateful for whatever's around me, food, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So to be able to see something that's, oftentimes in the monkeys on the room, in church and such, we have church on a Sunday or whatever, and then maybe we have a good community group, but then there's the rest of the week that is just something else.
Sacred secular divide. And so we've got to get that theology right. That we're created in the image of a worker God.
Yes.
That is how we bear his image. God is a worker. If you read in Genesis 2, I think, creation story, where he says on the first day, God created whatever. And basically, if you just read, there's a couple of verses in there where it says, and then on the 8th day, seventh day, God rested from his work and all the work that he performed.
That's right.
And, and it's like, it says it like 5 times. Here's the word I've underlined in my Bible. It's like 5 times it uses the word work when in relation to God creating.
Oh, that's
we never
cool,
think of it before as work. It was such hard work, in fact, that he had to take a break. He had to go and rest. And he blessed the day that he rested from his work.
From his work.
And we're created in his image. And so we receive the fulfillment and the validation and the purpose and the joy of working hard. And I remember the point, which is why, we were talking earlier about how my alarm goes off at 4:45.
Yeah.
And how we get to this time of the day and I'm starting to...
I've worked.
I'm
ready for the rest.
And man, guess what? I sleep well.
Yes.
Man, I sleep well. And so most nights, unless something's stirring, whatever, and I wake in the middle of the night, most nights I sleep super well, and I'm in bed early. I don't have trouble going to sleep. I don't need sleeping pills.
You're right.
Right. And actually, kind of my life, the turning point when I was a young man. So 20 years ago, when I first kind of encountered Brian and all this, and things started to shift for me, and I started waking up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I was in my mid-20s, and I was still drinking. I was still smoking. I was not a model Christian kid. I was, still kind of bore the scars of the world and was being transformed. But when I started working hard, I couldn't be out late drinking and hanging around and smoking and messing. Because you're right. And so that's what a young man needs, man.
Yeah, that's right.
We need hard work. And we need to not see work as a curse, because work's not the curse.
Yes.
Work pre-existed the fall, and it's part of our design and the validation. And so that's what the young people, this ballooning kind of bulging generation of young people in Africa, average age 19 here in Zambia.
Yeah, it's crazy.
These young people need gainful employment to keep
And they want it.
They want it.
You
of
can see the
course.
desire. They want meaning
dignity.
and
Exactly.
meaningfulness, and they realize.
Yeah.
I can't believe the guys I work with when you ask them if they'd rather have a bag of mealie meal or work. They want work.
Well,
They want work.
Yeah.
I can buy a mealie meal if I work,
there you go.
but then I feel like I'm doing something. I'm building something.
Right.
The worth they gain from it, I'm amazed. Like,
Right. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
We're made for that. We're
Yeah.
created for that.
That's right.
And so, I think the key to kind of unlocking that productivity and profitability and all these things that we know kind of make life work, make the world work. And it's part of stewardship and all those things what we were designed for, is somehow understanding what is in abundance in a place and converting what is in abundance into something tradable or consumable. And so we need grain.
That's profound. Can you say that again? That's
We've got to address, assess
taking
the
something
situation,
abundant.
find what is in abundance.
Yeah.
Find, so here in Africa, the joke, and this is funny. So we say that, you guys from America, you guys have the watches, but we've got the time. You know what I mean?
That's so true.
And so
It's so true. We watch our time carefully fly by, and we have none of it.
and so time in Africa is abundant because nobody's got a job. None
Yeah,
of these young guys
people
have
have a
jobs.
job, yeah.
Highest rate of unemployment.
Yeah, they just have
So
time.
Lots of time, lots of cheap labor.
Yep.
Right? These things are in abundance here.
Yeah, yeah.
So how do we do this? So there's unskilled labor, right? So we don't have lots of accounting jobs,
Ditch digging.
right? We got lots of farm jobs.
Yep.
So these are unskilled, physical. These are able-bodied young people. Who, what else is abundant in Africa? Biggest continent.
Yeah.
With this
Land.
arable land. Most arable land, the most natural resources. We've got abundant rainfall. I know
It's nuts.
shifting seasons of the climate and all that kind of stuff. Yes, we are facing that. But we've still got enough rainfall to get a harvest, at least one a year. We know we've got lots of land. 30% of the landmass in Zambia, which is bigger than Texas, is unutilized.
Yeah.
It's just barren, virgin bush.
Yeah, and of the utilized land, most of it's underutilized. The production
Yes.
levels are low. It's denuded.
Yes.
If we didn't till another hectare,
Right.
and we just used models like the Foundations for Farming model,
We'd still be food secure.
oh my God,
Yeah, we'd be exporting.
we would be.
Yeah, so what is abundant here? It's sunshine, it's rainfall, it's land, it's labor. So we got to convert
We need the
those
skill.
things. Yeah. So with training
Yep.
and management, we can harness that abundance and convert that into something that is tradable and consumable, which is grain. And so there's a simple model now to do this at scale. So in Zimbabwe, we've done it with 3 million small-scale farmers, each doing tiny little pieces of land, but that was enough to feed a nation.
Yeah,
That's all we need. 3 million people doing 1/16 of a hectare.
That's insane.
So we don't need a lot of land.
Yeah.
It's about being faithful with little.
That's right.
And then God adds, there's a supernatural multiplication that takes place. And that's the key to this thing. That's the incredible kingdom
So what do you
gift.
see unique with the Village of Hope here? You say model. Now, models are meant to be
Yeah.
replicated.
Yeah, got to be
Right?
replicable.
And so as you've come here, okay, there's something, again, there's this foundation piece. Okay, you bring farming to take it to the next step because you have all these services,
Yeah.
but we want to be self-providing, right, self-sustaining, and also provide both trades and jobs for the people that we're training up as both fallbacks, but eventually too, because I can imagine these people, they're becoming educated on their way up. And so if they're learning a trade, great.
Yeah.
But then this is the foundations. Foundations for Farming provides the basis of a staple diet.
Yeah.
But then there's people hungry to continue in
Absolutely.
agriculture and into better crops.
And the
things.
parable of the talents is not, hey, well done. You were faithful with 5 coins. You can hold on to those 5 coins.
That's right.
You can be food secure for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's not enough. No one wants to stop there. There's got to be more. And that kind of has always kind of irked me because I'm like, I just want, who wants to just stay there? Like,
Yeah.
you know, what I mean, that's not enough.
That's
and,
right.
And so there's got to be more, and I believe that that's God's heart. It's for more. Like once you've done that, then you can build on the next.
Yes.
And so that's absolutely it. So one of the things that we're kind of, I don't know if it's premature to speak about it now, but we're physically in the process of building the building and whatever. But so the next stage is farm feed. So you know, we've got animals, but other people have animals, and so we're trying to encourage our students. By the time they graduate from the agriculture college, they go back with a soft, and it's not, that's learn is the wrong word for it, but they go back with the skills to start their own business.
Yeah.
And basically we'll give them the feed. They've got to buy the chickens and do their whatever. But then once they've grown their chickens, they can sell their chickens back to us, less the cost of the feed.
Okay. Yeah.
And so there's, you know what I mean? So we instantly say those that want it, it's not a requirement, but if you want to start your own business, micro kind of loan thing, but we're not loan sharks. We're not going to
Right.
take your chickens from you if you can't pay the loan back. It's we want everybody to do it. And so it's out of the overflow of the excess of kind of what God is helping us to build. We want everybody to play, and we want everyone to grow. And when you do things at such a kind of a basic level, then it's not risky, and it's not.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
right.
So we're designed to share and to be in community, and we've already got trust because we've been working together in the field at 5:30 in the morning every day for a year. So we know each other, and so we've been talking about, you know, integrity and honesty and love and sacrifice and service and family, and so it's just a natural progression. And so I want them to succeed.
That's very cool.
And they want to be seen by me as being responsible and hardworking and all these values that we've talked about for a year. So it's a cool ecosystem. But also I think it's a fun sort of a thing that we're trying to teach them, and we're also trying to model that we're not reliant on handouts. How many
100%.
How many NGOs, orphanages, non-profits, whatever, great heart, want to do great work, want to help people, but
it's consumed.
it's not sustainable
Because it doesn't replicate.
Right, it doesn't replicate
It's not
because
fruitful.
it's dependent on handouts.
Yep.
And that's just not a sustainable model. So we are trying to model that, hey, everything that we need to feed everybody and do all this, whatever, we can grow it ourselves, and we can enjoy that and then consume it ourselves. And
Amazing,
there's excess, and we can sell that, then creates more jobs. And hey, come and get involved, come and be part of this. I was on a podcast about a year ago in the States with some veterans, some military veterans. And they wanted me to talk about this whole sustainability thing and living off grid. They were calling it, and homesteading and all of that. And they were all into it, you know, and Bitcoin and all this stuff. And it was so we're like so on the same page, and we're all like just like yeah, you know. And so we're all off the grid as well with solar. So we've got, you know, massive kind of 128 solar panels and, you know, whatever it is, 176 whatever kilowatt system and all this. So the bakery and the village and the school and all that stuff all runs on solar. And so it's such a cool kind of an off-grid, sustainable, holistic thing, education, enterprise, ecology. So they were like eating it all up and just like saying, you know, because there's going to come a time when, you know, you can't buy or sell, and you're going to have to be able to grow your own food and you know, have your own protein and have your own grain to feed the protein and blah, blah. And you know, we're like, and I'm like, hey, we're so on the same page. And then they're like, and the end of the kind of the thing I'm saying, and then give it away to those that need it, and share it, and bless those that don't have enough. And as I'm saying that, the guy is saying, and then defend it from those that don't have any, because they're going to come for it, you're going to have to kill.
Wait a minute.
Whoa, I thought we were saying the same thing. We're not saying the same thing yet. Hold on a second. And I was like, say that again?
Yeah.
He's like, we've got these reloads. They can be reloaded infinitely. Because if you're the only one with the food, and there's 2 million hungry people around you, and they know that you've got the food, they're coming for the food.
That's crazy.
And so you're going to have to defend the food. These are all guys that have been in combat. They're all combat veterans.
Totally.
They know war. I don't. I've never been in war. But that's the self-preservation mentality. And so I think the antidote to that is selflessness.
Yes.
And so what we talk about, everything that we're trying to do is we're trying to grow surplus and excess so that everybody can have, and everybody knows how to do it, and everybody can do it, and so that everybody can survive.
Yeah.
And I think that is the only way to do it. It's that mutual gains approach. For sure, if I'm the only one that knows the knowledge and the only one that can do this, then I'm in trouble. Because yes, then everybody will be coming for it if I'm the only one with food. And so we've got a window here. We've got a period. I don't know
I think you're right
how
about
many
that.
years, but we've got to train like crazy. We need an army of trainers to be equipped and inspired with the heart of selflessness to go out there and share this knowledge and train and give it away and equip the masses to be able to be independent. And maybe that's the wrong word, but to no longer be dependent on handouts.
Well, and to no longer be dependent for the basic human needs.
Right.
I mean, there's been interesting studies, and I come from rural America. I love capitalism as a vehicle because it's pure economy.
Yeah.
But the challenge with that is, oftentimes there's been some really intriguing studies done showing, what can happen with a minimum basic income, if you will.
Okay.
And of course, I'm not I don't like handouts either. But there's something to be said, even like FDR during the Depression. Yeah. Like he paid people to dig a ditch one day, and the next day he paid them to fill it in.
Wow.
Like, was that a handout? But they worked for it.
Yeah.
And because he understood exactly what you're saying, like
dignity.
Yeah, and that's not where we want to stay. But if we have to do it, we'll do it for a period.
Right.
Eventually, no. And that's what you're saying. What you're saying is, though, we want to be able to give everyone the ability to have at least the basics.
Right.
At least the basics, and to work for it, to earn it.
Yeah.
Not in vain futility. Right. But in something that's actually profitable. And that's the Foundations for Farming model. Yeah. Is intensive.
Right.
But it's abundant.
Exactly.
And so the amount of work, it's efficient. The amount of work you spend, the amount of space you do it on, compared to the amount you get out of it, is efficient. It's fruitful. It's abundant. It lets you have abundant time.
Yes. And that's what business is. Business is a study in efficiency. You got to, right? And so that's all that this is. And so that's what I love about it. Kind of I love the sort of the intricacies. We did a village scale model this past season, and we're going to replicate it again this coming season. So 5 hectares is 80 plots. So you get 80 people from one village to do 5 hectares. That'll feed a village. That's the entire village. If you just get 80 people, so one worker from each of 80 families, it'll feed 80 families on 5 hectares. Amazing. And so I love working out like the timing of that. Okay, so it's an hour a day for 3 weeks to dig all of those holes. So you work in groups of 8. So you've got 10 teams of 8. And it'll take you an hour to do one of those plots, digging the holes. And then, the next operations, you lime it and you put basil fertilizer and you mulch it and you top dress it and you all those little actions. And so we broke it down and did it bite size through the season. And then it was an hour a week of weeding and an hour a week of mulching and all these different things.
Oh, that's so doable.
And so off that 5 hectare model, we reaped 6.8 tons per hectare. The national average in Zambia was 2 tons. So it's a 3x national average simply by doing it together and doing it at a high standard. Beautiful straight lines and the dignity and the purpose and the joy. Oftentimes those young people are singing as we work every morning in the field. There's joy, there's purpose. That's the model. And so Denver, all of this kind of for me is pointing towards the prediction right now is that here in Africa, in the next 20 years. So I love talking to these young people, in their early 20s. And because this has been my journey the last 20 years. This has been a transformation of who I was in my own strength before I met Jesus, and kind of the selfishness and the deprivation and whatever I was into at that point. And many of them are still there. They're there. And I'm saying by the time you are my age, there will be another 1.5 billion people here on the continent of Africa.
Good night, eh?
Already the hungriest, the least education, the lowest rate of employment, the lowest GDP of any continent on the planet. And this continent is going to receive another 1.5 billion hungry, uneducated, impoverished children in the next 20 years. By the time you are my age, what are you going to do about that? Right? If we think we've got problems now, what is that going to be like to govern, to
So how do we take that problem and turn it into
well, exactly. So we can't wait until 20 years time to address that problem. It'll be too late. So these young people have to start today to apply this knowledge, to grow the food, to become faithful stewards, to become sustainable, productive, low-cost producers of abundance. And that way, as these young people come, they'll be able to meet the food requirement. They'll be able to educate them and equip them and employ them and do all this sort of thing. And then we'll have this army of young people, the youngest population on the planet, that will be the labor force, the farm factory that will feed the world,
feed the nation,
that is dying from the factory food that they're being fed, which is killing them. Right. So that
and
this
the
is
lifestyle, ironically.
right. So it's either
Solution to work.
it's either the greatest catastrophe the world has ever known, this young, unemployable, uneducated, hungry population of 1.5 billion, or it's Africa's greatest opportunity. And so if we can harness this opportunity, man, I think we're going to see something special.
That's so exciting. I can't wait to see how that takes shape.
Yeah.
What is the have you guys talked about what's the point at time when you to multiply, cell division is always the next.
Yeah. So
do you have a plan for that, or is it right now just perfect what we have?
So we're still kind of in the perfect the model stage, but we do have 40 young people, high schoolers from different schools in the district coming every second week. So we'll go a week, a 7-day camp, miss a week, then a 7-day camp. So these 40 young people are coming already, have been for over a year now, working on the farm, learning within that week, being exposed to all the ways that it's done. So farming God's way. And then they also do smart choices, which is basically it's sex ed kind of thing, but with a gospel kind of thing to it. Because here in Zambia, the pregnancy rate is 69%. 69% of young Zambians have a baby by the time they're 19. 69%. So that just destroys any kind of goals, dreams, ambitions that you might have as a young person to go and get an education and a job and whatever. You're instantly committed to that child, and so your chances of getting higher education and employment are just drastically reduced. So we teach people about that and how you can avoid making that mistake. And so at the School of Hope, over the last 10 years, they've got a pregnancy rate of 1%.
Oh, wow.
Compared to a national average of 69%. So it has a massive impact. That's over 10 years. And they pregnancy test all the girls when they come back to school after every holiday. So it's, it's something that they've got, they're doing something right. So smart choices, farming God's way, and Alpha, so Teen Alpha, which is kind of a discipleship thing. And then they establish these smart choices, farming God's way, Teen Alpha model classes or whatever, clubs in each of these schools. So after the 40 have been there, the 40 go back with 3 teachers from their school that came as well. And then they go and establish these clubs in their schools and start training the rest of their schools. So it's already been happening for over a year.
Exciting. Okay.
But we want to do that kind of a little bit more intentionally. And really, at the moment, we don't have a budget to be able to go and visit those schools scattered all over the place, really help them establish models of their own in each of their kind of satellite communities.
It's a lot of work.
But that's the end goal. That's the rollout.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exciting. Yeah. Well, we better wrap it up because I'm sure we're coming to the end here. I think we'll do another one in the future because I'd like to dive a bit more into the nuts and bolts. I'd like to talk to Benedict as well, hear a little bit more about his story and his vision. And then I think probably too I'll bring Gabe up. Maybe we can do some on-site
brilliant
video so people can see. Okay, we've talked about it then, but but actually see what it looks like, because it's amazing. We went and toured it with you here a few months ago, and it's very cool. So thanks for taking the time. I'm so excited about what you're doing and how you're doing it, and excited to be, look, like Spear, we're just starting.
Yeah.
And just trying to start out of obedience, but Spear being strategic partnerships, enabling abundance and resilience. Like,
Love it.
So partnerships, some partnerships are very close, some partnerships are more affiliations, but I love what you guys are doing, and as much as we can possibly elevate that or collaborate or whatever, affiliate, as God leads us. I don't know how, but that was one of the most amazing things to me that I saw going clear back to 2019 when I was first here, is to see how many amazing people like you, like Benedict, etc., are here working to make changes. But then oftentimes, there are a lot of great people doing a lot of great things, don't even know each other.
Right.
And that really stood out to me, like, but
crazy.
you don't know so-and-so, you don't know, well, you don't know the...
Yeah.
And so that's really something on my heart for networking, is to really try to bring each other together to a degree, so that we're all learning from each other what each other are doing, and multiplying that.
Yeah, fantastic.
So I'm excited. Like, how can people reach out? How can people find you if they want to be more involved with your project, etc.? What's a good place to land?
So Facebook page is probably the most active. There's kind of often updates and videos of whatever crops we're harvesting or whatever's going. We just had a great wheat harvest now. So
that's Village of Hope?
Village of Hope,
Okay,
yeah.
we'll put that in the video
Village of
description.
Hope. All kids can learn Zambia.
Okay.
Is the official name, but it's Village of Hope.
Okay, great. We'll put that in the show notes for you.
Super, thank you.
And we look forward to the next time.
Amazing, thank you.
All right, thanks very much.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
everybody.
Thank you.